Hello, it's me, a Rise Hunter!
You must capture all the monsters. Treat them kindly.
No, you must kill them all. Murder them with abject impunity.
I don't know.
Listen to me and I will grant you life.
Listen to me and I will grant you more murderous impunity.
What do I do? Hello, my fellow hunters, my fellow waiters for Rise, as we strive to do anything to make these next 7,171,200 seconds go by with increased speed. Well, today we're going to look at something quite curious. These quite curious little birds with their really quite soulless staring eyes that honestly is so unnerving compared to how cute their little round belly full of essence to slurp is. In any case, they are the Spirit Birds, and from the looks of things, Rise's endgame, or at least your endgame sets, are going to be revolving around them, thanks to a brand new piece of equipment known as the Petalace. Petalace? Petalace. Petalace. We'll go with Petalace. This is a new piece of equipment, and, well, it seems to be replacing what is currently the charm slot. In fact, there seems to be no charm slot at all in Rise. And that's exactly what is inspiring today's discussion, because that's a pretty big deal. Charms have been a charming part of Monster Hunter's endgame build cycle farming, whether crafting them in World or Iceborne, or getting them RNG in the previous gen, or having a specified charm table when they got introduced in the 3rd gen, which wasn't that great, honestly. But the point of charms has always been to provide more endgame set variety. Though I say that with everyone in Iceborne running around with probably Agitator 5 on, so perhaps not achieve that goal in Iceborne. Largely due to charms being targetable and craftable instead of complete RNG drops like decorations are in World and Iceborne, whereas before it was decorations are craftable and charms are the RNG drop. Which system is better leaves a lot to be debate, but it's something that's going to be very relevant with Rise, and indeed this Petalace, as we will see. So to see an example of the equipment screen without a charm is a little bit Now, of course, to me, this implies 3 major possibilities, but before we go over them, let's actually talk the Petalace. Petalace, I think Petalace works, because they are quite curious indeed. This bracelet is made of a plant known as a sending sprig, and it can be equipped just like a weapon or a piece of armor. The pollen Spirit Birds carry with them attaches to the Petalace, enveloping the hunter in a sweet, energizing fragrance that grants a permanent status boost until the end of the quest. There are various types of Petalace, some more likely to raise your attack, others more likely to raise your maximum health, for instance. Pick a type that best suits your needs. Also, to most hunter, that means
pick the type with the most attack!
Because that's all that matters, right? Hey! Now, look, this is quite a fascinating little system, and we do indeed have an example of a very basic of basic, in fact, the most basic Petalace. Now, instantly we see they go up in rarities. Whether they change what they do as they do so is unknown, but for a base level, we have the Hunting Petalace 1. Health up 30, health gained 3. Same with stamina, and then your attack up 5, attack gained 1, defense up 10, defense gained 1. So this then is quite curious, but what does it mean? Well, to me, I would take it as the cap of health that this Petalace can give you is 30, and every Spirit Bird adds 3 towards that cap. So while hunting, once you've found 10 healing Spirit Birds
and absorbed their essence,
then you are maximum power on that front for this Petalace. But this to me comes with a bit of a flaw, and that flaw is, well, surely the correct, air quotes, the optimum efficient thing to do is start the hunt and then just run around the map until you found 5 attack Spirit Birds, 10 defense Spirit Birds, 10 health Spirit Birds, 10 stamina Spirit Birds. Then go hunt at, optimum strength. that's gonna be really boring really quickly. And of course, we have the age-old, well, just don't do it then. But humans are drawn to doing things as best as possible. That's why tenderizing happens in Iceborne, even though the clutch claw in its systems, while well-meaning and initially fun, has proven to just be really awkward and kind of bad. But people still tenderize despite that. So this is definitely a kind of flag for me. Now, it could be that it just gives you 30 health up just as standard, whether that stacks with eating a tasty hunter meal, or vitality level 3. I don't know, I imagine it doesn't, because this is hunting Petalace 1. So imagine what a super endgame Elder Dragon crafted one, assuming they are crafted, gives you. What, health up 300? Health gained by Spirit Bird 30? There has to be some sort of ceiling here, otherwise we are going to end up monstrously powerful. We have seen the 4 Spirit Birds, each glowing with their colour that represents their stats, so perhaps this is it, and the better Petalaces just increase these numbers. But the interesting thing to me is the fact that there is a second tab to this Petalace, and that, I imagine, might be where the skills are. Because indeed, I think it's very likely that this might replace the charm, and indeed has done, but also they do come with skills. The rarity is what determines the gained and the ups of each stat, but then the different Petalaces have different actual skills for your hunter on the second page. And this makes sense, as losing that extra slot to increase your character customization of your armor build at endgame wouldn't be, well, a smart move at all, because it's only beneficial to have more to play with when it comes to creating your perfect ideal armor set slash build. So what I'm thinking here is that either there is no charms, or you can have a charm or a Petalace, depending on what you're after. You can either put on something that lets you gain these mid-hunt boosts, or you can put on something that gives you skills, but then again, they really want Rise to be all about the endemic life. They want these Spirit Birds to be meaningful. I highly doubt you can just forego it and just put on a normal bog standard charm. And again, because of this page 2, I imagine there is skills here as well, just that we can't see them. In fact, the deluxe edition does mention that it comes with a charm, so that is very extra confusing, because that would imply that charms are in the game. But that also could be that Petalaces weren't revealed then, so they just called it a charm to make things simple. I think that is kind of likely. So, what I believe we have here, and what I believe is going to be your Rise endgame non-actual armor slot, is a Petalace that gives you a certain amount of stat as a cap, and a certain amount of that cap filled in per bird that you find. Now, you probably can get one that's just like attack up 200, attack gained per bird 10, but none of the other 3, so you still have to sort out your defense, stamina, and health from other skills, or ignore them and just have your vitality level 3. Maybe a health up 50 Petalace with health gained 5 means that you don't have to get vitality on your armor, you can just find 10 Spirit Birds, though that again does seem quite clunky and maybe a little bit awkward to just be wirebugging around the map, hunting down Spirit Birds so you can be at the normal amount of health you should be at. In any case, I think it's likely then they will have skills on the second page, so you can kind of go for your optimum Petalace, right? I want one that's all about attack Spirit Birds that also gives me attack +4. Awesome. And to me, this also implies then that decorations are going to be the RNG grind of Rise, because I doubt it will be random Petalaces dropping. It seems too much of a core system. It's a new piece of equipment. It'll be a speciality crafted by the village. In fact, it says it's made of a sending sprig, so it will be a thing that Kimura Village is known for, one of its little traditions. And then having the blacksmith actually whip you up these different Petalaces, depending on what you find, is what makes sense to me. So in that case, we need some kind of endless RNG grind in a Monster Hunter endgame, so decorations once again become that. So you can choose your Petalace, get it crafted, and then go farm your decorations in however you farm them in Rise. And this is kind of awkward because, well, I think grinding random charms, but being able to guarantee which decorations you have by targeting them and just crafting them like any piece of equipment is much more set variety, because you can get an amazing charm, then now build an entirely new set around it, as opposed to just getting the best charm and waiting forever for your Attack 2 or Agitator 2 to actually drop, so your set can just get a little bit better, but fundamentally remain exactly the same. Getting a decoration to drop is rarely a set enabler, whereas getting a good charm to drop was completely a set enabler back in the day. But I don't think either system is really bad per se, and of course it remains to be seen how they actually are specifically doing it in Rise. But this is very interesting. It's been a long time since we've got an entirely new piece of at least permanent equipment. We got temporary equipment with boosters and mantles in World, but they are confirmed not in Rise, so we shall see how this pans out. And one thing, of course, to mention is if you are getting RNG decorations dropping but crafting the charm slot, that would also imply that we're getting the same skill system from World/Iceborne in Rise. So we're not going back to the old way of needing +10 in something to actually activate it. It seems we're sticking with +2 to a skill on your armor, gives you 2 ranks in that skill, and those 2 ranks do something, which is a much, much better, more intuitive system. So I am very much happy on that front. In any case, that's kind of my take. There is a lot to look into here, there really is, but we shall have to wait and see. I do think that this armor is just all low rank stuff, so there's no alpha or beta yet, but I imagine that will be how it is. I can't see them going back to Blade Master Gunner, as it's just a worse system, and this is a game taking a lot of inspiration from World, including its monsters. I mean, it was being developed after World alongside the other team doing Iceborne, so I imagine a lot of the quality of life will be retained. But until we know for more, that's about what we can ascertain from this simple one screenshot. Alright then, guys, like you've enjoyed this, let me know your thoughts, your interpretations. I might be completely off base here, but I do think that Petalaces are just enhanced charms, still have skills, but also interact with the endemic life. You craft them, signature of the village, and you grind your decorations. I will then see you soon. Oh, goodbye.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you, even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on, and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.